Hello everybody, welcome back to my garden. Today I thought I'd just bring you along as I kind of walk around and kind of see what's going on in the garden. It's been really hot this week, so I haven't done too much during the week. I do work full-time, so whatever I get done during the week is just a little bit of walking around and weeding and stuff. So today I'm going to go around. I have a few things to pick and a few maintenance things to do. This is my herb bed. Here, I decided to put it like right by the back door. And that way, you know, when you come out and you're cooking and stuff, everything is right here. So I've been trimming off the basil as it gets ready to flower. I've got a couple different kinds. Sweet basil. I've got a lettuce leaf basil in here. Look how big these leaves are. Really big leaves. This is Genovese basil and the purple basil, which is doing better than I thought it would. Because normally it's too dry here for this basil, which is surprising. But I have been pinching off the flowers. See, this is flowering. And basically what I do is I go down to the next, like right there is where I want to take it. I don't know if you could see that, to the next set of leaves. And just pinch that off. And then I take this in the house and put it in water because it's just a wonderful smell for the house, and I use it for stuff. Now this is dying here and I don't know why. Oh, that must have been something I cut off. So you could see here where I cut that off, and I just go through and do that. I try to go back as far as I can. Like I could take it right there, but I try to go back even farther. I am going to go, this is hard to do with no cameraman, way back there, to keep it more bushy and not as lanky. So, and I do that with all the basil here. This is Purple Ruffles basil. It has not flowered yet, but I still could nip this off and kind of do, let's do that, like encourage some more side shoot growth. Come on, behave. There we go. And that way, these little shoots will grow here. Right there. So I just keep them on the corner of my sink here. And it gives such a wonderful aroma to your kitchen. And you just pick off a leaf when you need one, when you're cooking. So if you guys have not tried this stuff, give it a try. That stuff is amazing. Has nothing to do with gardening, but it's amazing. So there you go. That's what I do with my basil. So also, if you haven't tried strawberry basil water, I just take a strawberry, chop it up, put it in a mason jar with some ice, and take 1 or 2 basil leaves, tear them up, and put them in the water as well. It's just fabulous, fabulous drink. So you got to try that because it's so good. Say hi, Macy. Hi, Macy. So the next thing we're going to do is pick some cucumbers. These are called piccolino cucumbers. They're like the Persian cucumbers that you can buy. I'm just gonna nip this one off. There we go. Really nice. Cucumbers. This is one of those cucumbers that I buy all the time. And I grow all the time. So these are really nice. First cucumbers of the season. This plant is a really good producer, but it only produces probably through, oh, not even to September. It doesn't make it to September. Through mid-August, and then it just dies. You can see the leaves here are not looking very good. Let's take that off. Take off all these cruddy leaves on the bottom. This cucumber here is rotting. Take that off. Because they're just not doing the plant any good. So take all the dead leaves off. I've got quite a few. They're sun damage. These old leaves are sun damage. So I'm going to go through and do the rest of them and clean them all up. The rest of the cucumbers, I've got fruit, lots of fruit. And I come in here and I try to keep, like, they'll climb by themselves, but I try to keep them climbing vertically. They tend to want to climb horizontally. You could see this. You can see this here wants to go that way, and I want it to go this way. So as much as I can, I try to keep them contained so I know which variety I'm picking when I'm picking them. Got my other helper in the garden here. That's Harry. Right, Harry? He's like, I'm ignoring you. Yeah, you're ignoring me. All right, as we continue on here, you can see the beans are flowering. These are a Harcover style bean. They are flowering, so we should have beans in a little bit. It's a pretty pot full of beans. This is a 25-gallon pot, and I grow them like this every year. They do very well like this. So looking at the tomatoes, they are about 4 feet tall right now. Maybe 4.5, some of them. Lots of flowers on them. Some of the plants have little tomatoes on them, some of them do not. Again, very dry conditions, very hot conditions. Tomatoes like the heat, but it's been excessive, so they've been dropping flowers. But we're getting there. We're getting there. We've got some tomatoes here. This one is getting them, but then you look at this plant here, and these down here are not going to produce. Now, one of the things I've noticed is there's not a whole lot of pollinators in the garden. And so I think even though tomatoes are wind pollinated, like if you come in and you just, if you're not getting wind, just shake your plant like this, it will pollinate the flowers. So if you're not getting pollinated, just come in and shake it, and that'll pollinate. I've done that. I've grown tomatoes in my basement and done that and have gotten fruit on them. I'm not going to come out here and do that. There's enough wind here. It should be pollinating, but for some reason they're not producing tomatoes. So this is going to be an interesting year. But yeah, lots of flowers now. So I'm hoping that that means lots of tomatoes later on. So this is a cantaloupe plant. It is eventually going to grow up this trellis. And what I'm trying to do is watch it. So as it's starting to vine out, you can see I've clipped this vine onto the trellis, and it has hooked itself on there. So I go through, here's another one. This one isn't quite long enough, and I'll pull that up and hook it to the trellis and make sure that that climbs the trellis and doesn't fill the bed with vines. So this beautiful plant is a sugar pumpkin plant. And you can see there are some big, beautiful blooms on this plant. And I have started to get it to climb over the trellis, but I can see how he's doing this. We don't want that. This plant here is a delicata squash, and I didn't think it was gonna climb, but now it's putting out tendrils, so it will climb. So it's doing a pretty good job on its own. I just had to put 1 or 2 little clips in there to get it started going vertically, and now it is doing well. So this plant here is a spaghetti squash, and it's growing, it's probably a bush. It's growing more like a zucchini. So it's not really vining, doesn't have any tendrils. Well, it's got a few of them in there for climbing. It's got some beautiful flowers on it. But one of the things I'm noticing, sorry about the camera here, is we are getting blossom end rot on it. Now, I'm not really going to do anything about this right now, because sometimes plants will do blossom end rot on the very early fruits. I kind of thought this plant fruited early, and the early fruits sometimes die off. So I'm not going to worry about it right now, but if it continues to have blossom end rot, then I will treat it with some calcium. And when I do that, I'll let you know. For those of you who have been watching, remember how empty this bed looked? It is not empty anymore. It's really filling up fast. So I've got some dill here. You know, smell it. Smell-o-vision. It smells really good. Chives, I ended up coming in here and trimming them all down, so the next round could get going. And if you come through the dill, I've got, this is zucchini in here, or summer squash. This one is ready to pick. And I've got a yellow zucchini in there. That one's not quite ready. We've got some more in the plant. Oh, it smells like dill. It smells heavenly. So these guys are doing pretty well out here. We're gonna pick one, and then we'll continue on. So there we go. We are having squash for supper tonight. So one last thing, I took the cover off my onions because they were getting a little too big, and they're looking pretty good. I do notice there is a hole here. I don't know if you can see that. So that means a chipmunk was digging in here, but he doesn't seem to be disturbing the onions. So keep your fingers crossed for me that this works out okay. So this and this are peppers. This is a rainbow bell. Do not know what color it's going to be. We're getting some nice little peppers on it. This one is called Roumanian, Roumanian. It's another bell type pepper. Still getting flowers even with the heat. Walk over here. This one doesn't have any fruit. These are jalapeno. Nope. This one is called Sugar Rush Peach. This one is a Cajun Bell. Got mosquitoes biting me. This one is called Escamillo. It's a yellow pepper. These ones are Jupiter Bell. They're hybrids. This one is called Intruder. Again, it's a hybrid. This one's doing really well. This has always been a really good performer for me. And this is another rainbow bell here. Next to the peppers, I've got my fennel, doing very well. And then I had a couple extra pumpkin plants. I just threw them in the end one here. They're doing okay. Look at this lettuce. I just can't believe this. This happened in 1 week. So this lettuce is all shot. It's bolting. This was an iceberg type lettuce. Not iceberg. Romaine type lettuce. And it's shot. So that'll have to be pulled. Spinach bolted. That'll have to be pulled. My kale never disappoints me. This is beautiful. Blue Curl Scotch kale. I say this every year. If you don't think you like kale, grow it yourself. It's completely different than the kale you find in the store. So all you have to do to harvest these leaves is just break them off. So we're going to throw the kale in with the zucchini and onions. We're going to have a good side dish for dinner tonight. So I forgot to show you my flowers. My yarrow is looking beautiful. Beautiful flowers. I love this plant. And once it's done flowering, you can cut it back. And sometimes it'll do a second bloom. While we're over here, potatoes are looking really good. They have stopped flowering. So they're doing good. So that will do it for today. Keep your fingers crossed for me that we get some rain. We're supposed to get rain all this week. We'll see if it actually comes to fruition. They said we're in a rainy pattern. I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it. So that's all the little maintenance items I have to do and some picking. Let me show you what I picked today and then we'll end the video. So I could have put this in a basket, but I'm not going to. So kale, we had a nice bouquet of kale here. That's going to go for supper tonight. Some cucumbers. Those are really good cucumbers. And a zucchini will also go for supper tonight as well. Alright, thank you so much for watching, everybody. And let me know in the comment section down below how your garden is doing. And until I see you next time, happy gardening, everybody. Bye-bye.